Hey everybody, it's Peter from the Kia Hyundai channel. Welcome to our live video series. Today we're going to talk about the 2022 Hyundai Tucson Ultimate Hybrid. So the Ultimate is by default a hybrid, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But we're talking about this, of course, now in the context of the Kia Sportage being out, which is based on the same platform and has recently been updated. The Sportage, of course, is a 2023, but that really doesn't matter because it's a current model year. So there's lots to reconsider, even though we've talked about this vehicle before. Now, if you've never joined us for these videos before, these are actually filmed live. And if you're not watching live with us, you can skip ahead to the 3-minute mark if you want. In the meantime, what we're going to do is we'll show you how to join us live, and we'll talk about some news and some notes. So we'll jump around here right now, and we'll start on how to join us live. All right, if you want to join us live, we just replaced our main video here yesterday. So if you go to our channel, you'll see our main video. But if you come to our channel exactly at 2 o'clock on a weekday, you will see that the live video takes over that section. So if we're live, you'll see a live video in there. And again, it's 2 o'clock on a weekday, 2 o'clock Eastern time. All right, you're going to click into that, and you're going to watch a quick little ad. As you watch an ad, hold on, that's a weird ad. I don't know what this one's for. All right, we're going to skip this ad for a second. There we go. If you are watching with us and you're in Ontario and you want to buy a car, buy it from us. You can reach out to me in a link in the description. As soon as this video is done, I will connect you with our 3 dealers that support us. That's Brantford Kia, Brantford Hyundai, and Owen Sound Hyundai. So 3 dealers in Ontario, we can be your local dealer. All right, somebody says, I guess we have the base model of this vehicle. Yeah, today it's not the base model at all. It's actually the top line model. Yesterday, apparently, when we had a little outage with our internet, we actually had a power outage, and I didn't really notice that because I live in a bubble, apparently. So I do apologize for you yesterday if you were trying to reach out to me and I missed your comments. We did have a section where I couldn't check those comments, so I apologize for that. Yeah, yesterday we filmed a little video talking about, we're going to have Gabby and Charlotte filling in here, doing a whole bunch of stuff for us. And just so you know, throughout April, we will not have any live videos. I'm going to take a little bit of time away from the office here, and we're going to figure out a bunch of stuff in that time. So that's what's going on. And yeah. What else have I got? I know a couple people were asking me about various timelines of various vehicles, and the short answer for pretty much everything is there is a wait for just about everything. If there are several things that we don't know about. So if you've heard about an international vehicle being released and you haven't heard from us that it has been released, that's because we don't know. A couple of you are sort of starting to challenge us a little bit. You said that the Kia Stinger is not going to come because you heard online somewhere that there is no 2023 Kia Stinger. I can confirm for you for sure, like I've said all along, that there will be a 2023 Kia Stinger in Canada. However, that is, in my opinion, likely the last model year. So do me a favor, if you're regular with us, hit the like button. Let's try to get a bunch more likes before we start, and then we'll dive into this Tucson here, and we'll do that right about now, 3 minutes in. All right, Hyundai Tucson is an interesting car. It is a shared platform. So there's 3 vehicles in the Kia Hyundai lineup on this platform. There is the Tucson, there's the new 2023 Kia Sportage, which was just announced, and then interestingly, there's also the Santa Cruz, which is that pickup sort of style thing that I actually own. The Santa Cruz is on a very modified version of this platform, but the Tucson and the Sportage, really you can see a lot of family resemblance in these vehicles, but there are some differences. The Sportage comes standard with 187 horsepower, 2.5-liter engine, and so does this. As you move up in the Sportage lineup to get to the full luxury trims, you can get the full luxury trims with that same engine, whereas in the Tucson, the only way to get the luxury trims is in the hybrid. Now, we just had Sportage information announced yesterday. There is a hybrid coming, and the Sportage will be available in a hybrid in 2 trim lines, the EX and the SX, and that kind of matches what Hyundai is doing here. We're going to show you our trims for the Tucson right here as we flip across. You can see they have an essential model starting just under 30 grand, preferred, urban, and some of these can have packages added to them. Preferred with trend package is a really nice package, by the way. If you haven't seen those videos, we've done it on there. I think that's a nice one. N-Line, obviously popular. It's a sporty looking version, but no extra power or anything like that. And then you move into the luxury hybrid all-wheel drive and the ultimate hybrid all-wheel drive. So we have the ultimate hybrid all-wheel drive, and basically what that means is, there you go, $43,751 is the MSRP. You can also get a plug-in hybrid, which we haven't got today. It's just the hybrid. But what that means is as you add, or as you move up in the lineup in the past, you used to have, like, for instance, a turbo engine, which would give you all kinds of power. Now what you have is a hybrid powertrain. So the hybrid powertrain gives you extra power, just like the turbo would have, but also better fuel efficiency. So that's pretty cool. All right, we're gonna start off by showing you what the key looks like. It is a little bit more complex key than you see on most vehicles. Now, it is a smart key, and you can do with smart keys smart things. Like, you can take it to the back of the vehicle, And just by being in proximity to the rear here, because it is a proximity key, you will see that the lights will blink 5 times in 3 seconds down there, the signal lights. And again, not touching it or doing anything different, just standing here, that trunk can open just by having the proximity key nearby. Now you can turn that on or off. If you don't want it, you can turn it off, but it is very helpful for a lot of people when you think about taking your things, you know, let's say you're holding your groceries or whatever it is, you get to the back of the vehicle, you don't want to put them down in the snow or the ice or anything else. You don't have to wave your foot underneath the back bumper to get that to open. It just senses that there is a key within proximity of the trunk and it can open it. Like I said, you can turn that feature on or off if you want. One of my favorite features on this is it has the ability to remote start. So it's a hybrid. We're going to remote start it right now. So we're going to lock it up. We're going to remote start it. And live videos. This is where things either work or they don't work. There's 2 extra buttons there. One moves it forward, one moves it back. Let's see if we can drive it forward for a second now. So you hit forward here, the car goes into gear, I can hear it going into gear, and there it goes. It's driving forward, and I'm gonna stop it right there. And now we can do the same thing. Let's move it back. Drive it backwards, give it a second. I hear the beeping noise that hybrids often make when they back up, and there it goes backwards. So that's a pretty cool feature. It's very precise. We're gonna turn the car off right now. And it's just kind of a, oops, there we go, we just turned it off. Yeah, so we're turning it off. It's a pretty cool feature because if you're parked in a tight spot, you can just pull it out with the key fob. I don't know how many people are actually gonna use it, but it is pretty cool and it works pretty well. But like I said, pulling it out of a tight garage, pulling it out of a tight parking spot, if someone parks really close to you, you don't have to worry about dinging your door against their car. You can just open up. So really cool things in the key fob. Lock, unlock, pop the trunk by holding the button or pop the trunk by standing near it. The hold button there for the alarm essentially. Move the car forward, move the car backwards, and hold right there to remote start. Pretty cool. For the rest of the time, we're gonna leave it in my pocket. All right, let's talk about the driver's environment. So where are we headed today? Driver's environment, rear seat, trunk space, lighting, overall vehicle. You know, lots to talk about. Let's jump in right now. This is the, oh boy, it's called Amazon Gray. I don't know grays very well. I have shoes that I think are gray. Other people think they're blue. This looks green to me, just a little bit of a green to it, which would make sense, Amazon. But they call it Amazon Gray, and it does look gray in certain lights and green in other lights. I quite like it. Here's another thing the key does. You can see the little bit of a light back there. Right on my finger there, you can see some light. When you approach the vehicle, the door handles in the front here, they do light up. They have, again, it's just sensing that proximity key. We're going to touch that door once, that button there once, and it'll unlock just the driver's door. If we had touched it twice, it would have unlocked all the doors. Now, again, shared interior with something like the Santa Cruz, but actually quite different. The Santa Cruz does not have this space down here with the ambient lighting. It just has the space up here with the ambient lighting. So you have a little bit extra storage here in the Tucson than you would in the Santa Cruz, even though the Santa Cruz is a little bit wider. And where you notice the extra width in the Santa Cruz is right in this area. Sometimes it's a little bit more space there. But you can see you've got two 10.25-inch screens here. So as we turn the vehicle to the on position without starting it, again, the Sportage has 2 screens as well. The Sportage has 12.3-inch screens running across here, where this one has 10.25-inch screens, one separate one here, one separate one over here. Now let's just start with the dash. In a hybrid, you don't really need a tachometer because the electric motor is going to be doing various things, and sometimes your engine speed doesn't match what your vehicle is doing. In other words, if the electric motor is accelerating the car and the engine may stay idling or even off, so a tachometer can be a little bit misleading, confusing compared to what the vehicle is actually doing. If you want this to be a tachometer, you can make it a tachometer. If you switch the drive modes alone, you can see that it can switch to actually, no, in this case it's not. So sometimes you can have it switch to a tachometer just in sport mode, and in regular mode you could have it in just that eco gauge. But what this does essentially is when the vehicle is on, right now the engine is off. When the vehicle's on, it'll be up in this area here. As you drive economically, that needle's going to go through there. As you drive through the power, it's going to be in here. And as you charge, it's going to come down into a charge section, which you can see if we put it in gear, but right now we'll just leave it out of gear. Obviously, the center of the dash can be customized to a number of different things. You've got your navigation information here. So if you had navigation information on the center display, you could put your directions right up here. You can see your four-wheel drive bar graph. So as you're driving four-wheel drive, it'll show you where the power is going to all these wheels. Now, one interesting thing about the all-wheel drive system on this car is this is not a slip and grip system like so many of our competitors. A lot of our competitors have front wheels that have to slip before it's going to engage the rear wheels. So couple little things that are different about this car that I think are worth noting, and today I think are the leading technology. It may change as time goes on, but when the front wheels, or when you start out in this car, all four wheels receive traction, and this little bar graph will show you exactly what's going on with each four wheels. A lot of cars, they start in front wheel drive sometimes, or if the front wheels lose traction, then it tries to kick power to the rear. That doesn't happen here, because what happens in those situations is the front wheels lose traction, the car feels very squirrely, then you give the rear wheels traction, sometimes that pushes the car and leaves you actually more out of control and gets a real squirrely feeling, and then they all try to find traction again. This car starts with all wheels powering at the same time, and then as it senses it doesn't need all-wheel drive, it'll move that power forward. What that does is gives you really sure-footed, comfortable handling in poor weather conditions like snow. This vehicle has terrain modes. It says mud and sand. You're not going to go mudding in this car. So if you're at a campsite and there's some mud in the area, it has a drive mode that's optimized to that. If you're going to the cottage, that kind of thing. But it does have drive modes to do those things. But really what you're using this car for is regular everyday roads, maybe some back roads and off roads, as in gravel roads. But the drive modes essentially are made for traction, and this car is excellent in poor weather conditions with things like the terrain mode and snow. Again, mud and sand are just there to help you in those conditions if you hit them. And then drive modes, eco, sport, and smart. Now, interesting, it's not a normal sport and smart, it's eco, sport, and smart. And I will say with this electric motor and the hybrid, eco mode feels very much like a normal mode, but it is, again, trying to get you that efficiency, so it makes some sense to have that. So again, just coming through the dash here, we'll cycle back over here. Lane keep, lane follow information. You can have your smart cruise control information. You can see other vehicles that are in front of you when you do some of this stuff in here. So just a cool little display that gives you really good information as you're going through. And again, there's no hood on here. There's no cover over here because this is a perfectly good display. It doesn't need to be shaded from the sun, which makes for a much cleaner dash look, easy to clean, both wiping down and just a cleaner kind of look. Now over here, you have the exact same screen, same size, except this one's a touch screen, of course. And you've got everything in here. You've got AM, FM, satellite radio. You've got a Bose audio system. You've got, let's sort of show you. You've got some hybrid information in here if you want to look at the hybrid information. Oh, boy, that's not really displaying very well. That is a bright orange line, and this is a bright blue line. I don't know how to make that display better. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there you go. There's kind of the coloring right, but the focus is wrong. Again, ignore fuel efficiency on this car. This car is rated about 6.4 to 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers. That's what you're going to see. This car, of course, dealership cars never have great fuel efficiency. They're always idling and doing various things to demonstrate, so never worry about the fuel mileage there. Sounds of nature, my least favorite feature. We'll talk about that some other time. And you've got, of course, the nice big display map here, which we can see full screen, or if you want to go just a partial screen, you can cycle through on this screen various things. So we've got the radio station right there, a map there, electric motor, electric information, hybrid information essentially, a clock, navigation, or a compass, outside temperature, and that. So again, we're inside in a radio controlled area. That's why it's having trouble picking up the radio station right there. No big deal. And we're going to turn that back to the main menu there. Now, I do recommend that when you drive this vehicle, you set up the guest mode. So, or set up to driver 1, driver 2, or guest mode. If you have a multiple users driving this car, you can choose a drive mode just for that driver. We're going to keep it on guest mode for me today. And the reason I think it's important to do that is if you go to the setup menus here and you start messing around with things in the vehicle, you can see there's all kinds of things you can change. So even just the way it is, coasting guide, it can tell you how to coast, help you coast and save fuel efficiency. When it starts coasting, essentially, and when it doesn't, you can change it around the cluster. So that's, again, your gauge cluster over here. It's wanting us to start the battery here to avoid discharge. We'll worry about that later. But you can select your themes and other things, but you can also select the way it looks inside here, even the way the climate works. You can set that up. And once you start changing a lot of these things around, you can really start changing the car. So think of it like a cell phone. If you ever had to share a cell phone with someone, that would kind of be weird, right? So you can customize this car the same way you would customize your cell phone. So when you get in, it is completely set up for you. Both safety features, comfort features, technology features, radio stations, even climate systems, all customized the way you like it just by choosing your user. So if you share the car, set up your users, it'll make it easier. Down here, I really like what they do here. This is the same thing in the Santa Cruz. I have this in my car. The only difference with my car is this one has a driver-only mode. Sometimes in a hybrid, to keep that gasoline engine from running, you can go to a driver-only mode and it just sends the vents only to the driver. We're going to turn that off right now, but what I like about this whole display is you have this diffuse mode here. So again, multiple temperatures on either side, driver, passenger. If you hit the diffuse button, that's kind of a cool button. It really changes the way the air comes at you, and you can feel the difference. Instead of just coming through that vent on the side and just coming through these vents here, you can see there are little perforations in the dash right in there, obviously the vents there, and right across through there. You can see those little vents there. Those little holes are now literally diffusing the air across the whole thing. And especially, I don't love this in the winter where it just kind of blows the warm air, but on a summer day when you have the sunroof open, and this one's got an amazing sunroof, you can get that gentle breeze blowing across your face instead of having that, one vent with the hard, hard blast of air coming at you. So the diffuse mode, I use it in my car all the time, especially when I have my sunroof open. If you see me with my sunroof open, you're gonna see me using that diffuse mode in my car. And I really like the way it works. It's just one of those little silly features that you don't think much of when you buy the car, but you really quite like it. Now, coming down here, ambient lighting, we mentioned that before. Different cars have different things. So the difference between the Santa Cruz and this is the Santa Cruz has a cell phone charger like down here. Again, shared dash, except for when it gets to down here. This one has a sort of a hidden cell phone charger, and it's on an angle down here. And I figured if I hit the brakes, my phone would flop out of this spot, but it's on a good angle. It's on a rubber pad. This is your wireless charge pad. You set your phone on the angle there. It stays perfectly in place. It does not move around, and it's out of the way, and then you gain more space down here. And the reason you're having some of this extra space is because something like the Santa Cruz or the lower level Tucsons, even though they share interiors here, they don't have the same gear shift. You have push button gear shift on the hybrid models here. You have a lever style gear shift on the non-hybrid models, but the push button gear shift does give you more room here. It's easier to get water bottles in and out of here. It's easier to get your wallet and keys and phone out of this area. So it does give you more space. So USB port, 12 volt port, USB port on the outside there, wireless charging down here. Ventilated seats, so nice and takes the heat out of the seat and cools you down, depending on the setting that you have there. So it doesn't have any air conditioning settings in there, but it moves enough air to definitely cool you down. And of course, my favorite feature, rump roasters, steering wheel heater as well. Hill descent control, parking beepers front and rear, and you can bring up the camera system, which will do that right here. 360 camera on this car. What I like is when it's looking behind you, you can set it up to look at your rear wheels here on the sides if you're parallel parking. But if you were going forward, you can have the same view looking at your front wheels. So just a nice little feature there. And again, it shows you with yellow lines here what's behind you, but if I was to swing the wheel a little bit, this here would swing out there to show you where the front's gonna swing. It is very, very easy to park this car, even in a crowded spot. And what I like about it is when you pull forward, you can activate this camera pulling forward when you're driving, and you can just park the car perfectly right to the lines the way you want. You don't have to be in reverse to pull up that camera, which I think is quite nice. Turn it back off. Coming down here, electronic parking brake, and you also have a little glove or little storage right there. All right, coming up, we're just almost finished some of the key things. I'm gonna go take your questions. Garage door openers are on the mirror here. It's an auto dimming mirror. You've got nice, where are we? LED lighting in here, so nice white LED lighting in there. And of course, we did mention earlier the sunroof. It is a large sunroof, and we'll open it up for you. Some people think this is disappointing. I think it makes total logical sense. The massive sunroof does not open more than that. Even if you touch it again, it's not going back any further. And that's because it's got a very large vent here to diffuse the air as it's coming across. If you opened it more, you get a lot more buffeting. So it's quite a bit of air here. It's very wide here, very large. And again, the whole roof is panoramic. So we'll leave that open for us for now. We'll come around, look at just a couple things on the steering wheel. A lot of hybrids have a CVT transmission. This has a 6-speed automatic transmission, so it's a 6-speed dual clutch transmission, and you can just tap through the gears if you wanted to with your paddle shifters right there. Lane follow assist, smart cruise control, that works well with the highway drive assist. And then you've got this over here. Now again, lane follow assist, what that really is the car can see lane markers and other things in front of you, and it can keep it centered in the lane. It's really, really nice on a really long trip. One thing I like about this car that does not have, the Santa Cruz did not come with, and it's probably due to the chip shortage, this car has memory driver seats. So for me, I don't really share my car, not a big deal. But if you are sharing the car, that is kind of a nice feature to have there as well. Safety features, we can talk about that in probably another video. This car's got basically everything that you could want. Most of the safety features in a modern car are all about collision avoidance. So that's really what this one's aimed for. All right, we've got 95 people on, 47 likes. Let's go for 85 likes. We can do that. 47 right now, we need to get to 85. I'm gonna take your questions right now, and then we're gonna head backseat, trunk space, lighting, some safety stuff, exterior, and we'll keep rolling through. So let's jump in here. When you hook up Android Auto to the screen, will it only show, oh, sorry, let me just, I just missed your question there at the end, so let me just find it here again. Okay. Can you hook up Android Auto to the screen, or will it only show the nav that is installed? No, absolutely. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are on this car. On the lower trim levels with the 8-inch screen, it's wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. On this screen, it's the wired. Why on the larger screen? I don't really have a good answer for you. Okay. Somebody liked the Tucson, but not the front lights. Interestingly, I like the Tucson front lights. but it's different than the Santa Cruz. Most people think that the Tucson and the Santa Cruz have the same front lights. We'll show you this a little bit later in the video. They are different. I prefer the Santa Cruz, but I think they both look good. The Santa Cruz is a little different out front. Okay. Yeah, battery discharge, future problem. Yeah, so the battery discharge is like in every other vehicle. There's a 12-volt battery that runs all the accessories that I run, and I don't run these vehicles inside here because if that gasoline engine starts, my boss gets upset when I gas him out because apparently that's an issue. But yeah, so it does warn us when the 12-volt battery is in use. All right. Okay, Amazon Gray is one of my favorite colors. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Got my Ultimate PHEV a month ago. Very good. So again, this car is available in a PHEV as well. I haven't been able to review that only because I seem to just keep missing when they're being delivered. I do have a couple customers that have offered me their cars. That may be something we have to do. We'll look at that in the next week or so. Somebody says, is the facelifted Palisade coming soon? I don't have any official information on that, but of course we've all seen stuff online, so I'll keep you updated as we know more about that. In Canada, can you get the N-Line with the hybrid powertrain? No, not yet. So is it a GDI engine? It is, and I know that a lot of people have fears about that. Just going to do some induction services through that. And GDI engine is really good for power, but you do have an extra potential for carbon buildup, so you just do an induction service, no big deal. Somebody says 227 horsepower, correct? That is correct. All right, let's keep rolling through here. How do you use the HD data feature? Let's just show you real quick. Let's see if it works. It may not work. Sometimes because of radio signal in here, but it takes HD radio data. It's actually one of my favorite features if it will work in here. So let's see if I can find it. Oh boy, let me just let everything come to life here. All right, HD radio data, it may not work. Doppler radar, you just tap into it. So you can see here, no rain or snow anywhere in the area here. There is some traffic thing, and this is all coming from your HD radio signal. So it needs an HD radio signal. There's the traffic. It can give you all kinds of warnings about the different traffic in the area. You can see various things, and there's also gas prices, which we don't want to see, but maybe it'll be funny in a future video to see them either so cheap or so expensive. $1.73 at the Esso nearby, and yeah, pretty much the same around town here. So kind of a cool thing to have in the car. And again, it's just taking an HD radio signal, which isn't available in every single area, but it does work here. All right, what we're gonna do now is this seat, when I'm in it, moves back. It's set to a default. I can unset it to do that. It makes it easier to get in and out. So I'm gonna put the seat to where I need it here. And yeah, so this is where I would need it. I look comfortable, like look normal-ish, right? And so what I'm going to do is leave that seat there and jump in the back seat here to show you one of the real strengths of the Tucson. As we get in here, you can see lots of space. Let me just jump in and show you. Compared to my Santa Cruz, which again, built on the same platform, Santa Cruz is a much longer vehicle, but all of that length goes into the bed in the back. This here has great space. A lot more space than the Santa Cruz back here. Very comfortable. The seat backs, they can tilt and go forward. I can't move it back any farther right now because the cargo blind is in place. I could move that cargo blind further back and recline these seats further back, but very, very comfortable here. Headroom is fantastic under the sunroof, and even underneath the side here is very good. You've got a leg or a armrest here. Leg rest, that's not a leg rest. Could be, I guess, if you're, well, it depends on what you're doing back here. Anyways, armrest right there and cup holders in there. This is one of those back seats that gets literally everything right. So you can see over here, you've got heated rear seats, 2 levels of heated rear seats on the outboard seating position, seat bottoms only. You've got bottle holders in the door, upgraded stereo like we mentioned before. You've got plastic back seats. If you've got kids, especially kids in car seats in the back of your seat anytime at all, they can get the back of the seats dirty. The plastic back seats just wipe clean, no problem. You've got a nice big stretchy cargo area there that I like. I prefer this over the other ones. One, they stretch more and you can see what's in there. You do have vents, which I like, and you guys do as well. You got USB ports down here, and the driver's seat also has that. And you just kind of got everything you could possibly need back here. That little sensor behind me, somebody's asked what those are. That can sense if there's children left in the car. So if you leave your children in this car, let's say you're a new parent and you're really exhausted, or maybe you're a grandparent not used to having the kids, and you leave a baby in the car or something like that, those sensors can sense that. They can sense that there's a child in here, and it can warn you 100 different, well, not 100, but many different ways. It can warn you on your phone. It can send you a text message or a notification on your phone. It can sound the alarm on the car. There's all kinds of things it can do. So again, safety, safety, safety. This car's got all kinds of things. And then over here, you have little LED lights on the side, which are, again, directed towards the individual user, and that's because there's no space for them in the center with this huge panoramic roof. So excellent back seat here. Kind of everything you could want. And we'll shut the door and we'll look at that trunk just one more time. We didn't do our teddy bear test. So again, we could approach this, or we could pop the trunk just by approaching it, but we can also use it the traditional way like we are right now. Again, this floor can lower, but even in the higher position, and with the cargo blind in, Teddy's tummy fits just on the edge of that cargo blind. The cargo blind can come out. You could store it underneath here. See those little squares on the end there? Cargo blind can be stored underneath the floor, and that means if you folded the seats down, you would have big open space there, and you can fold the seats down easily with the levers right there. When you look at the new Sportage and the Tucson, the trunk looks nearly identical. A lot of the same trim pieces, the same way to fold down the seats, so you can really see some shared componentry in there. Just a lot of space. It's basically a 2 teddy bear trunk. It's for a smaller crossover, it's very, very good. One little thing that I think is weird. The entire car has white LED lights. This one is an amber, sort of more incandescent light, which I don't know why. It's not amber, but it's more amberish. So just one thing I think they could have, tweaked up a little bit. The speed of this can be adjusted as well, going up and down. I feel like it's set to a little bit slower than normal. There's a slower and a fast speed. To me, this feels like a little bit slower than normal. All right, we're gonna take a look at lighting, talk really briefly about some safety stuff, and then we'll keep going and go back to your questions. So let's get the headlights turned on. No fog lights on this car, really no fog lights needed. So let's talk safety really quickly. Blind spot detection, safe exit warning, all kinds of things. Basically what happens is there's some radar plate back here on this car. If you're in reverse, it can warn you of things crossing your path. If you're going forward and you're signaling on the highway, it can warn you of things in their blind spot. The car is really good at seeing things all the way around you. If you're parking, you've got parking sensors that can warn you about things behind you. And many of them are actively capable of steering or braking the car to keep you away from things. You've got the same thing out front. The car is capable of steering or braking to keep you away from things out front by using that little camera that looks at the lane keep or lane follow information up there. That's the center of your screen right there. Looks forward, and then combine that with the radar plate, which on this car is down to the side a little bit there, can measure the distance between you and vehicles in front of you. Now, in person, these lights look different. These are very white, and again, a lot of people think this is the same as the Santa Cruz. The Santa Cruz is a wider vehicle, and they have a different array of lights here. This one has 4 high, the Santa Cruz only has 3 high. It is different, but they are certainly familiar with each other. So again, these are daytime running lights. When they're off on this trim level, they blend in perfectly with the chrome front grille. On the lower trim levels, these are not tinted, so they don't quite blend in with the grille the same way. What you have for headlights is right down here. Those are your headlights, and they are the best of the best in the Kia Hyundai lineup. They are on this trim line, they are the nice bright white lights with a sharp cutoff. And again, you can see you really don't need fog lights down here. They do a good job of lighting up everything you need. They also, the thing that you notice with these lights, they are very wide. They cover a good bit of width, and you can really see the width on these when you're driving. Signal lights, again, different here than in the Santa Cruz, and that's because they really do have a different front end. You do have the same mirrors as the Santa Cruz there, and signal lights are right in here, whereas in the Santa Cruz, they're kind of a lower section down in there. So LED lights out front here, LED lights in the mirrors as well. Let's come take a look at the back. You do have LED tail lights over here. So again, this is actually this isn't too bad. It shows pretty good. So a real jewel kind of look in here, hard to film, but you can just sort of see there's a real 3D kind of jeweled look here. You've got the taillights running across in here. Those are the brake lights up top, and the signal light is down a little lower there as well. A couple things I like about the mirror here, interesting anyways. You've got the flush logo. Instead of being on the glass, it's in the glass, and then you have the wiper that runs down and back. So it runs down from there. We've all talked about they do that for style, but it's also very good for practical reasons in the Canadian winters. As your snow and your ice melts from the rear defroster, and then you park, it of course sets on your wiper, and it's just hard on your wiper. So again, hidden up under the spoiler is better. Somebody just asked me a question. What did you ask? Does it have automatic high beams? Yes, it does. So if you want to turn on your high beams automatically, and I've driven cars like a Tesla. Tesla vehicles, at least the last ones I drove, when they have the automatic high beams, if you're in a city and there's city lights, they stay on. Well, that's illegal in Canada. So these ones here, your headlights turn on and off. If it sees tail lights in front of you, if it sees headlights coming towards you, it does a really good job of turning them off in time, but then instantly turning back on when they can. But these ones also turn off in town. Something like a Tesla doesn't always do that. So, and other vehicles as well. So, I forgot what we were going for. I think we were going for like 80 some odd likes, 84 likes. So we're at 107 people in. 109 people on right now. Do me a favor, guys. If this is kind of in any way good for helpful knowledge, or if you just want to appreciate that, hey, I spent a half an hour with you guys, do my best here. Let's see if we can hit the like button. We'll try to go for 85. Somebody says, did we order the Sportage? Sportage here is on order. We have several in stock. We have a hybrid available for order now, but we haven't done that yet. So there's those ones are ordered. This one, oh boy. I think that was part of my lunch coming back. I'm sorry about that. All right. Oh man, need a drink. All right. If you want to order the Tucson, I was talking with Brantford Hyundai people. Various cars are hard to order at times. So sometimes cars are unorderable in certain points. That's where this one is at this point. It's technically unorderable. But if you want to order one, connect with Brantford Hyundai, Owen Sound Hyundai. Let them know that you want to order one. They will place an order or get ready to place your order. They'll do everything up that they can. So the first second that they can order the car, they will get you in and order the car. And that's the way we'll do it. I would expect, this is just me guessing here, that this is probably a late summer, maybe early fall delivery, which for anything with a battery right now, anything with a hybrid, there's a lot of delays in those. So that's a decent time right now. Nothing's perfect, but at least, you know, we're telling you what we honestly know right now. And again, that's my expectation. Connect with our dealers just to make sure that that's up to date. When would the PHEV be available? I was told it's on back order. Same thing. You can order it today, and if you can't order, you can connect with our team. We'll get it ordered for you. I think it's a little bit longer wait for that one there. Somebody said from California, but they like our channel. Thanks. That's awesome. Somebody said, can't wait to buy this vehicle when possible. Yeah, this is a really nice vehicle. Okay. What is the expected wait time of this exact trim? So we kind of touched on that. I believe it's late summer or fall, but just check with our team when you get there. Because I haven't checked it up exactly. Oh, a few that were around Chicago are $2,500 to $5,000 markup. We don't do that with our dealer group. End of story. I know that happens a lot of places. It doesn't happen here. Somebody wants to know the gas mileage. Let's show you the actual sticker. This is, can't do any better than that than show the actual rating. 6.3 in the city, 6.6 on the highway, and that's legit. This car can get that, and that's pretty good for the size of SUV that this is, the amount of interior space and everything else. Is there an all-electric mode? Sort of. It will do that on its own. The PHEV is really the one that you want to get if you want all-electric for larger stretches of time. The hybrids, again, they blend gasoline and electric motors. And the one thing I want to say about this is, I think that right now, when we talk about the all-wheel drive system, which we already talked about earlier, the best system today, and this may change, is a mechanical link. So you have engine and motor up front, electric motor and gasoline engine up front, and they connect to the same drivetrain. So the drivetrain works the exact same, whether it has battery or whether it has hybrid power or electric power or a blend of both. Whereas a lot of cars they do, or some cars they'll put electric motors in the rear and then gasoline on the front. I don't think that the technology is quite there yet to really blend those. You've got some driveline momentum up front and no driveline momentum up rear when you do that. So this one, again, same driveline for both, and that just makes it a little bit more secure in the winter as far as the way it drives and slips and everything else. All right, I think we're going to leave it there. We were hoping for 5 more likes. I guess we didn't get there. I'll see if I can answer a couple more questions for you. Watching from the UK, cool. Do the mirrors tilt down when in reverse? Not on this particular car. So in some of our cars, when you throw the car in reverse, if you leave the mirror switch to the side, so you can try this in your car here. If you leave the mirror switch to the side, and this one only has 2 sides, but if it's in the center, it won't move down. If it's in the sides, it will. Then when you put the car in reverse, the mirrors tilt down. This one has no center position, and therefore it does not have the ability to do that. Now, one cool thing you can do is if I hold the I think it's the unlock button on the key, maybe the lock button. I think it's the unlock button. The front windows can go down. So as you're approaching your car on a hot summer day, just hold the unlock button. The front windows go down, let that heat out. So that is a kind of cool thing that happens there. Would the preferred come sooner than the hybrids? Yes. If you don't want a hybrid, traditionally the non-hybrids have been quicker to come than the hybrids. Pretty much anything with a battery is a little bit extra delay over anything without a battery. Obviously, as you guys know, the entire car industry has a delay right now, so it is what it is. All right, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining. It's been fun. We hit 92 likes, which is pretty cool. If you want a couple of people finish off with a few likes, we might get 100, but I think we're going to leave it there. Tomorrow, we're back to the Kia world. I haven't decided what we're doing yet, so feel free to make a couple suggestions, and we will go from there. But yeah, thanks, guys. It's been fun. We'll see you again in the next